Welcome to the strange Casebook. On the morning of the 1st of December, 1948, on a quiet beach in Adelaide, a man is found dead against a seawall. He is well dressed, a clean suit, polished shoes, and he looks, for all the world, as though he has simply sat down to face the sea and fallen asleep. There is no wallet, no identification, and when they look closer, they find that the labels have been cut from his clothes. Someone has gone to real trouble to make sure that this man cannot be named. He would stay nameless for the next 74 years. Tonight, I want to open one of the strangest files there is. A case that has been called a spy story, a love story, and a perfect murder, and has never quite settled into being any of them. As always, I'll give you the record, not the rumors. Let's begin with the body on the beach. He is perhaps 45, fit, strong, well kept. There is no obvious wound. A half-smoked cigarette rests on his collar, as though it had fallen from his lips. In his pockets are the ordinary things: a comb, some chewing gum, a packet of cigarettes, matches, a couple of bus and train tickets, and nothing else. No keys, no letters, no name. Everything that might tell you who a man is, gone. The autopsy only deepens it. The pathologist becomes convinced the man was poisoned. His organs are congested in a way that points to it, and yet no poison can be found. None of the ones they know to look for. The doctor's conclusion is unsettling in its honesty. He is sure it was poison, and he cannot prove it. Cause of death? Unknown. Then the search for his name begins, and it goes nowhere. His fingerprints match no record in Australia, and none they can find abroad. His photograph is recognized by no one, or rather, by too many. A missing brother, a vanished husband, a friend who never came home. One after another, every one of them is ruled out. A whole country looks into this man's face, and not one person can say who he is. Weeks later, a suitcase is found, left at the Adelaide railway station the day before he died. Inside are clothes, and again the labels have been removed. A few items carry a name stenciled on them. T. Keane. It looks at last like a thread to pull. It isn't. No T. Keane is ever tied to the man, and many come to believe the name was left there on purpose to send everyone the wrong way. Even his luggage refuses to give him up. And here, the case turns from sad to strange. A second, closer search of the body finds a hidden fob pocket sewn into the waistband, easy to miss. Inside is a scrap of paper, tightly rolled. On it, printed in an ornate script, are 2 words in Persian: Tamám Shud. Translated, they mean, "It is ended. It is finished." The words are the last line of a famous old poem, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a long meditation on living fully because death comes for us all. And the scrap has been torn from the final page of one particular copy of that book. Find the book, the thinking goes, and you might just find the man. Astonishingly, the book turns up. A man comes forward. Some weeks before, he had found a copy of the Rubaiyat tossed onto the back seat of his unlocked car, parked near the beach, and had thought nothing of it. The torn edge matches the missing page exactly. And in the back of that book, pressed faintly in pencil, are two things that have haunted this case ever since. The first is a telephone number. The second is a code. Several lines of capital letters, jumbled, spelling nothing anyone can read. For more than 70 years, cryptographers, hobbyists, and intelligence agencies have all taken their turn at it. No one has broken it. To this day, no one knows what it says, or even whether it says anything at all. The telephone number leads to a young nurse who lived only a short walk from where the man was found. When she is shown a plaster cast taken of his face, witnesses say she looks as though she might faint, and then she says, quite firmly, that she does not know him. She holds to that in one form or another for the rest of her life. Whatever she knew, she takes it with her. And so the case sets like cooling concrete. A nameless man, a poison no one can find, a hidden message that says the end, an unbroken code, a woman who seemed to recognize something and said nothing. For decades, that is exactly where the file rests, open and apparently unanswerable. But this is where the man on the beach parts company with so many cases like him. Because in his case, something was kept. In 2021, after years of campaigning, his body was exhumed, and a usable DNA profile was finally drawn from his remains. And in 2022, a university researcher and a forensic genealogist announced that they had, at last, given him a name. His name, they concluded, was Carl Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker, born in 1905 in a suburb of Melbourne. A real man with a family, a history, a whole life, all of it hidden for 3/4 of a century behind a cut label and a rolled-up line of poetry. And yet, notice what a name gives back and what it doesn't. We can call him Carl Webb now. We still cannot tell you how he died, or why the labels were cut away, or what the code means, or what truly passed between him and the woman who lived just up the beach. The science reached back across 74 years and answered the one question Woodside can never answer, and then fell silent on all the rest. Tamám Shud, the scrap said. It is ended. For his name, perhaps it finally is. For everything else, the file stays open. I'll see you at the next. If you'd like to sit with more cases like this, subscribe. The file stays open.